Ye tigers rise, snakes uncoil, each arm shall octopus. What lies beneath the river's roil, the hippopotamus? Soaring eagle, tall giraffe, can the hear us fly? I would not write his epitaph, indeed I'd rather die, or search those like kangaroo. The words cannot be true. Oh, mortal kind, have thee in mind, O Clare. Here on my heart, where I ne'er hope to rest, the weight of my brow and the woe of my breast. Here on the heart of my love, let me lie. Here in my joy, let one live, let me die. Here on the heart of my love, let me lie. Here in my joy, let me live. Let me live and die.
Come to the heart that thirsts not to find rest in the chain of thy arm, from the wave of thy breast. The lash and the oar as a dream I gone by. The lash and the oar as a dream I gone by. While those in the clasp of my true love I lie.
Here on my heart, where I ne'er hope to rest, the weight of my brow and the woe of my breast. Here on the heart of my love, let me lie. Here let me lie.
Hello, and welcome to OMP at Home. I'm Schuyler Kelley, a board member of Off-Monroe Players and one of the hosts of tonight's showing. We are going to be watching a production of Trial by Jury staged in January of 2017. Joining me are Rachel Pasternak and Brian Smith, director Wayne Vanderbilt, and cast members Carla Cogliandro, Katie and Chris Garver, Erica Cruz, David Raymond, Tay Smith, Al Young, and Peter Zavon. While we're still unable to perform for you live, we're very pleased to be able to continue to bring you quality entertainment, albeit of a different variety than we are used to. In service of our philosophy of inclusion, we always perform for free, and tonight's event is no different. Of course, this would all be impossible if it were not for our generous patrons and donors like you. In January of 2020, we moved our operations to downtown United Presbyterian Church, and although we have been unable to perform in our new home, we have been working hard behind the scenes to prepare for the best possible premiere when we can safely perform for you. Again, this kind of investment of time and energy is made possible by contributions from our audience. So please, if you are able to contribute, visit http://off-monroeplayers.org/patrons. That's OFF-MONROE players.org/patrons. After the show, there will be a 10-minute intermission during which you can enjoy the work of our resident dramaturg, David Raymond, and afterwards we'll be back with a panel discussion about Trial by Jury and OMP. I'll be watching the comments, so if you have any questions for our panel, feel free to share. And now, without further ado, please sit back and enjoy the show.
and it responded fury, for I thought I'd never should get one chance of dressing a British jewelry. But I soon got tired of flirting, goodies and dinners and bread and water. So I fell in love with a Prince of Terry's lovely, ugly daughter. And Prince of Terry, he jumped for joy and replied to my fond professions. You shall reap the reward of your black, my boy. thrash and kick her. Let's make him tipsy, gentlemen, and drive. I don't object. All the legal theories, you know those folks I can sit up here all day, I will surely get away. Mary's visit, you will totally sell no lunches. Then don't sit under the buzzer, get if you like to brush her. Put your grease upon the shelf. I shall bury her myself. I want the rather to live together in marriage doesn't matter.
It seems to me, sir, of such as she's a judge is he such and a court judge too.
For joy unbound, doing well surrounded, the marriage sounded a queen and home. It seems to me, sir, such as she's a judge is Caesar and a good judge too. For joy unbound, he goes around, the marriage sounding a queen and home. It seems to me, sir, such as she's a judge is Caesar and a good judge too.
Yes, I am a judge. Yes, I am a judge. Oh, when it's a judge, you declare my last not shed a fury of a judge. Well, if it is a stop, if it is a stop,
That was Trial by Jury, presented in January 2017, and directed by Wayne Vanderbilt. Stay tuned. We'll take a few minutes intermission and be back with our panel. Remember that you can ask questions of your own in the comments. I can't guarantee we'll get to all of them, but we'll certainly try. If you are enjoying yourself so far, please take a moment to consider donating to Off-Monroe Players by visiting offmonroeplayers.org/patrons. That's OFF-monroe.org/patrons. We do not ever charge admissions. Our patrons and generous audience members make presentations like this one possible. Thank you.
When sorry moves the day, and all is over
my lover. This lady's his lover. This lady's my lover. This lady's his lover. He said she's his lover.
Joke is good extremely, and just signifies our mirth.
And we're back. Hello, I'm Schuyler Kelley. I'm here with Brian Smith and Rachel Pasternak, and director Wayne Vanderbilt, and cast members Erica Hopkins, Chris and Katie Garver, Peter Zavon, David Raymond, Carla Cogliandro, Al Young, and Tay Smith. Hi, how's it going, guys, everyone? We've got questions to ask. My very first question here is for Wayne. Wayne, as the director, what drew you to the show? I was watching the the Zoom screen here as we were watching the show, and you were just singing along with the whole thing. It was really quite fun to watch.
Well, my introduction to Trial was actually Sarah Jane Fondiller's when she did Trial by Judy, where she flipped the roles and flipped gender of the roles. But as soon as I became familiar with that score, I was convinced that this had to be done in a saloon in the Old West. I don't know why that came to me, but it just had the feel of frontier justice to me. It was not like a formal courtroom. It was extremely informal, a lot of give and take between the judge and the jury and the public. And it just felt like the old TV Western trials where the circuit judge rode into town and held court in the saloon, because that was the main gathering place in town. And so that's where my idea came from.
Very, very nice. It really was a very effective theme. I think we got several comments on that in the live chat here. Little touches like at one point Terry the usher fires off his cap gun, and plaster falls from the ceiling. You had created a device to do that. I thought little touches like that really added to the theme. I felt. Well,
thank you. Yeah, I rigged something that could be pulled backstage, a cable that could be pulled backstage and release what looked like plaster from the ceiling. So yeah, I tried to incorporate as much detail as I could. I think that really holds the audience's interest.
Brian, do you have a question? You're muted.
Yes, I do. And this is for anybody can chime in, but this is specifically for Erica, Carla, and Al as principals, because Off-Monroe does not audition for chorus roles. What do you remember about the audition process for this show? And you can answer in any order you want, or all three at the same time.
Yeah, simultaneously.
Should we, ladies first, start with Carla? And then Erica? And then Al chime in?
That sounds great.
Erica, you seem to be speaking.
Well, as for all,
So Carla, there you go.
As for all auditions for Off-Monroe Players for principal roles, the audition process is extremely relaxing and very inviting. So whether it be the music or the readings, this show, it was just very fun to audition for. Just Wayne is just a great guy, and you just want to do right by the director as always. And this was just a fun show and a fun audition. So I was glad to be a part of this.
Carla, what did you sing for the audition?
Oh gosh, Brian, that was a few years ago.
It's not that long. I'm sure you remember.
Oh. Do you remember, Brian?
I wasn't at the auditions, but I remember what I sing for each audition. Yes, because I keep a log.
Oh.
No, I don't keep a log. It was probably one GNS repertoire, but I couldn't tell you which one it was. I'm sorry.
I really like our audition process, but I'm surprised to hear anyone describe any audition as relaxing. A relaxing audition is not.
It's very inviting. So, I mean, it's stressful, but it's still relaxing at the same time.
Yeah.
You
I see what
felt
you
at
mean.
ease thanks
Yes.
to
Yes.
which
But
is-
sorry, I don't remember what I sung.
Erica.
Yeah, I was gonna chime in and say I don't remember.
You don't remember the
process. But yeah, no, it's always such a great time to be able to have the opportunity to work with you all again. And I just, watching this was really fun. And I do remember how much fun production was. So
Yeah.
that was cool. But I do remember the interesting thing is that the role that I had as the lawyer is not for a female. So Wayne, you know, when he casted me, told me that I would be singing the tenor line, I believe. It was, you know, written for a tenor. And so we had to do a little bit of tweaking there, I think. So that was really cool that I was still able to be in the show and sort of like just, you know, change the gender in order to be a part and to be a principal character.
Brian, may I just comment on that for a moment?
Certainly.
Yeah, this show is in order to have a better split between male and female roles. I decided that I wanted to have counsel played by a woman and sung, and that's a tenor role, but she could sing at an octave higher. So that's what I asked Erica to do, and then I also asked her to play that role as sort of a proto-feminist lawyer. And she really captured the essence of the character that I wanted her to be. And the relationship between Erica's character and Carla's character on stage was really it was just one of the greatest parts of the show, in my opinion. And I really appreciate that the two of them really took to the notion of Angelina having a female lawyer, and they really played it for all it was worth. They really did a great job.
Yeah, one thing I found out was our handshake, Carla. We did like a secret handshake at the end, which was pretty cool.
And Al.
I also don't really remember what I sang at audition. Usually what I'm doing at audition is something that I sang in the last show that I was in. And I echo Carla's comments about being a fun experience. Auditions at OMP are just like everything with Off-Monroe Players. It's a kind of a family affair, and you're able to spend time with friends during that audition and commiserate between each other. It's like, oh, I didn't sing that very well, or however you feel about it. And it's nice to have that camaraderie. This show, once you've seen it, once you've experienced it, it takes a warm place in your heart. It's one of my favorites, and just a fun romp. So I was glad to be a part of it.
I do have a question, Wayne, because I don't remember. Did you change the arrangement of anything for when Erica was singing up, or it was just an octave up?
It was only, she sang everything just an octave up from the tenor line, and I only had to change a couple of words in the lyrics of the show so that it would reflect the fact that we had changed from a male counsel to a female counsel. And none of those changes, I think, were in Erica's lines. I think there's one point where the jury refers to the attorney and
Man of learning,
and I changed it to learned counsel or something like that, and to make it gender neutral. And that was really the only change I had to make.
Thank you all. And I'm going to turn it over to Rachel for a question.
Yes, so this was actually the first show that I started working on the social media for OMP. So this holds a special place in my heart. And I remember watching the show. I didn't really know any songs from it. And I stood up in the balcony and I watched, I think, 2 performances. And I was struck by the pace of the show. I was like, wait a minute, we're not here for 2.5 hours? What is this? So I'm going to throw this question to Katie and Chris and David. Can you talk about the process of music rehearsals for this and how it was as a cast member to perform such a high energy, fast paced show?
Oh, well, it was a lot of fun for sure. I don't really remember the music rehearsals that well. I do remember the staging rehearsals because we had a lot of them because you could do the whole show twice in one rehearsal, which I thought was great. I the There's a lot of leeway for the men in the jury, at least, like Chris and I were, and Schuyler and several others. And the more we did it, the more you could find to just little details of things to do. Like I saw something I forgot, which is at the very end, we had all this business in the back with the bottle and the glass, and we were celebrating with Audrey too. She was, I remember being in the back with her and Jordu. The music rehearsals I don't really remember, but apparently we learned everything because it all sounded well. I just remember the rehearsals as being a lot of fun. I don't have a lot of specific memories of it. It was just a good experience all around, very well organized, and just like other people have said, it's such a fun piece, and it's so tight and it's so well written. You cannot not enjoy it, I think.
I don't really have too much to add. I mean, like you, I don't really remember the musical rehearsal process, but I definitely remember, like you said, just a lot of run-throughs, a lot of time to refine things. Like we were fairly far along in the process, like very quickly. So we had lots of time to refine our characterizations and things like that. I remember, wasn't the rehearsal schedule like didn't we meet on Saturday mornings too and something like that? It was
a couple times.
Yeah,
I think so. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I actually ended up working on a few things backstage. Like I actually pulled the trigger for the plaster to fall. So I actually wasn't like in the show. I stage managed, and actually speaking of music, I page turned for Alex because he was just frantically all over the place, and it's a very fast-paced show. I don't envy him at all having to play it, but I really enjoyed that aspect of it because it's not often that I can watch the show from the pit, and it was just really cool. It was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
I mean, we pretty much eventually became like a well-oiled machine. So like the fast pace was never really a problem.
Those square dances were, oh my gosh, like every rehearsal, there was always one person missing or something. And Wayne and I are like, oh my gosh, really guys, come on. But it came together and it came out good.
Yeah, it absolutely did. It was just such a fun show to watch as an audience member. Al, you had something to add?
Well, I was just going to say that this show, everyone is on stage pretty much as soon as they arrive. They're on stage for the rest of the show, and you have a very full stage. And anytime you're moving that many people around in a space, there's an art to it.
Yeah.
And you have to spend a lot of time and choreograph it and make it work. And it was a lot of fun. And yeah, it's a fast-paced show, but because it's so enjoyable, it doesn't seem like work. So.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I throw it back to Schuyler now.
So this is a question I wrote out for Peter, Tay, and Chris, which, as Brian mentioned, we let anyone join our chorus without auditioning. So a lot of times we get actors who will join us and play for one or two shows, but who don't necessarily join the organization and the community. And I wonder what has kept you engaged and involved with OMP, as opposed to doing one show and then moving on with your lives.
Well, I've been kind of off and on with OMP, but OMP is only my most recent Gilbert and Sullivan performing company. I started back in 1967 with a pinafore set on a World War I iron battleship at Boston University. So I'm one of those intensely annoying Gilbert and Sullivan fans.
You'll wherever you are, you'll find the group. And
yeah, I'm on SavoyNet. I've performed Trial by Jury twice at the Gilbert and Sullivan Festival, that sort of thing.
And Tay and Chris. or anywhere, or anyone else for that matter.
I just love like the OMP you can be on stage, but I have 2 children, and as they've been in different parts in their life, I just didn't have the time to like commit to a show, but you can still work on, the backstage stuff or work on that. And I think that's what has kept me engaged, even when I can't make the commitment to be in a full show. And it's just a lovely, lovely group of people. I mean, it's just, I think that's what I enjoy. And it's very musically interesting. I've been in a couple productions for other groups, and, the show that I was in was just not musically interesting. So you can always just make it, even if you're but if you're in the ensemble, I can choose to sing the alto line and challenge myself.
Yeah, I think it's a very good thing that OMP does not audition the chorus, because it leaves it open to a lot of people, even occasionally someone who is tone deaf, and you get a better community interaction that way.
And that's not even a dig. We literally have a chorus member, relatively regular chorus member who is literally tone deaf.
Yeah. Hi, Chris.
Yep. I mean, for me, the big draw is community, pretty much. Like I've done I work with a few other groups, and none of them is really quite the tight knit community that OMP is.
We're like a family.
Yeah, like a family, exactly. And there is a lot of flexibility in terms of like what you do. Like if you even if you have to like miss a few shows, like some directors, actually most directors, will be pretty even flexible about that. I mean, if you're in chorus, and
yeah, that does help, I suppose.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything to add about? No, then we'll move on with Brian's next question. And I do have a list of viewer questions. I'm keeping track, so don't worry. We will get there.
Well, my question is sort of working off Bruce's viewer question. But it's expanding it into ask, because I see her there in the background, the Miss Vanderbilt. So this is about people don't realize that costumes reflect a character, and I know, Anne, you did the costumes for this show. I'm not sure if you share the responsibility, but I thought you were the primary person. And so how much did you consider the character as you were fitting costumes for the various people and their roles in this interpretation of the show?
You consider the character for every costume that you pull together for any actor that you have on stage. And so you've got the costume person has to know the characters and know what the script is and know what's going to be happening, so that you're able to pull together a costume that makes it work for that person. And of course, when I'm on stage, I'm not really my character until I've actually got my costume on. My costume makes my character. And so that's what you look for. Yeah.
Well,
I would say, looking at this show, I was really impressed by the costumes, more so than when I was on stage with them. They really looked good. And by the way, that was one of the most comfortable costumes I've ever worn. Thank you.
That's one of my goals, make those actors feel comfortable.
Well, and as a follow-up with that, Anne, how much of the decision was independent for your aesthetic and what you thought the character, but as opposed to what the director may have asked for?
Well,
did you make your own independent suggestion?
It's a collaboration. You work together, and of course, it's easy for us to work together. But yeah, it's got to be, and it's a collaboration even with the actors, because I know there were things like I can remember Erica. I chose that green outfit, the jacket and the skirt, but you said I've got to wear a blouse with this, and so I said, oh yeah, okay, and we came up with a blouse for you. So, and it's even working with the actors so that everybody has an opportunity to have a part in the creative process.
I do remember making that hat. Like I bought all those feathers for my hat. And I had some feathers and we were like, no, we need more feathers. And so then I had like all these feathers.
Yeah, the hats are amazing. I think your daughter helped with a lot of them too.
She specifically designed yours.
Oh, okay.
and she helped with some others also. Yeah. She happened to be home during the time that we were working on it.
Anyone else? Anything to add regarding their costume for the show?
I loved my costume. I'm the only one like with that bright color, so I'm definitely. It makes sense for the other woman character that I was supposed to be, but that red, I think and I haven't seen it. This is the first time I'm actually watching it, so it looked really good.
May I say a word too, because I want to specifically acknowledge, in addition to Tay's costume, I want to acknowledge Tay, because the script does not have, the libretto does not have another woman. There is no character listed for the woman who Edwin has fallen in love with. I just pictured that we needed to have another woman who would be a tacit, silent character on stage, but who would be there and provide a foil for Angelina as the love interest. And Tay really took to that role and did a beautiful job. I mean, she didn't have a single line to sing, and yet she really established a character and did a great job.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, I was going to thank everyone for their contributions to that query of mine, and I will turn it over to Rachel.
Yes, so we all have not really been able to be together this year, right? So we are digging into our cache of memories of all being together and singing together and making wonderful music and shows together. So you just rewatched something from a few years ago. I would like to kind of go around the room and get just a memory that maybe came to you or a favorite moment in the show so that we can share it with everyone, kind of what was going through your head. And I'll start with you, Wayne.
When this is a story that occurred at a rehearsal. We ordered a stage weapon so that we would have a revolver for Tracy playing the sheriff. And this comes at the end of A Nice Dilemma, which is the most difficult chorus piece in the show and the biggest chorus piece in the show. And he sings, he would stand up on the table, on the judge's table. So he was behind the entire cast but above them and fire that gun, singing silence in court, bang. And well, one night at rehearsal, the gun didn't go off. And we didn't know why it didn't go off, but we knew that that was a possibility. I knew that that was a possibility, that in performance, the gun might not go off. So I said to the cast, listen, I want you to keep singing. Everybody knew when the gun was supposed to go off. It was counted in the beats, in the music. So it was silence in court, bang. Everybody knew when that bang was supposed to occur. So everybody knew when they were supposed to cut off, but I didn't want them to cut off if the gun didn't go off. I wanted them to keep singing until the gun went off. Well, wouldn't you know, in the next rehearsal, the gun didn't go off. And so it went silence in court, silence in court, because he kept trying to fire the pistol and it wouldn't go off. Finally, he got it to fire and then everybody cut off. And it was the funniest thing because the whole cast followed my direction and just kept singing. But there was this little decrescendo and then they crescendo back up because the gun didn't go off and they'd go back down and back up again. It was really quite hilarious, but they were a wonderful cast.
That is a perfect memory to have, and it makes you chuckle and others remember it. How about you, Erica? What's your favorite memory?
Well, specifically when I forgot that we had a matinee performance on a Saturday and had to speed to the venue to get there. Luckily, I didn't, my character doesn't come on until, maybe about 10 minutes in, but it's something I still think about and tell a lot of people. And now I double check my calendar and stuff before I make plans or go grocery shopping. But I do miss you guys a lot. It was really enjoyable. I moved from Rochester shortly after we did Sweetheart. So that was like the sort of pivotal or transitional, like the beginning of the transition. And yeah, I really miss you guys. It's always so much fun performing, but I don't feel like I've missed out on too much because nobody's done anything, so that's kind of good. So yeah, it was just awesome. The costumes, seeing everybody on stage, and even Jesse, who was the youngest guy there. I remember him being a part and all of us just working together, and it was really cool. So I miss you guys a lot. And yeah, hope to see you at some point in the future. If you guys are ever in California, let me know.
Definitely.
We miss you.
Rachel, that actually was my memory too. And I will never forget it because Wayne came up to me and he's like, "Where's Erica? Where's Erica? Nobody's seen Erica. Where is she?" So I called her and he's like right next to me, just panicking, and he's ready to go on. He had Anne looking for a costume. I mean, that was like probably one of the something that I will never forget as a stage manager, having an actor that I had to, hunt down and try to be like, "Erica, did you know we have a show today?" "Oh no, I'll be right there."
Yeah, I just completely I knew I had to be there at 7 or like 6:30. We had 7 p.m. show, but then like before that I was just like a lot. And I kind of, because I usually, my character doesn't come on for a while, so I could usually like come in late, so no one really noticed for a while because I would usually kind of stroll in. But yeah, that was, and it worked out. Everyone was cool, and I do remember actually when I arrived, everyone clapped. So everyone was on the stairs and they all clapped.
Quite relieved.
Oh my gosh, I'm feeling nerves about that, just hearing about it. Just the sweat.
If I may say, yes, that was a really tough moment for me. And Katie was my lifesaver because she said, "I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it." And she took care of it.
Yay, team.
Yes, Katie, you are a stage manager extraordinaire. We are so lucky to have had you. And we'll have you in the future, not only on stage, but backstage too. How about you, Chris? Any memories that stuck out?
Well, I just remember how very, very distracting it was to be on that jury bench next to Charles. And also to have Jad behind me. That was also pretty distracting at times. We played up the we I don't want to say like we goofed around during rehearsals, but we definitely
hammed it up.
We hammed it up, and I also watching this, I remember it's like, oh right, this was like the last time I had a completely shaved face. Last show. Like literally like the next month I grew it out, and that was
We all look back and think, wow, I had different hair, or oh, I was eating different amounts of cake clearly during this show. So yeah, we all look a little different every time we get on stage. David, how about you?
I have not seen this show. As somebody else said, I never watched them. I don't get the DVDs as a rule. And I really liked it. It was fun. I mean, I remember it as a fun experience, but now I can see how much fun it must have been for the audience as well, and you could hear the reaction. Other than that, as I said before, my memories of this particular one are just kind of overall really nice. The show was excellent. I remember the things that others are recalling, because who could forget Erica not showing up on time? Yeah, I will even say I even had a little twinge of nostalgia for performing at New Life. Or
Fair
performing
enough.
anywhere. Yeah,
Fair enough.
performing anywhere, I guess I would say.
Wow.
So yeah, I miss it. I hope I can do it again soon in whatever show comes up next.
We will perform again. Al, how about you? Any memories?
Well, nobody's really talked about it much. One of the things that I tend to get involved in is the sets and the tech stuff behind the scenes. And this was a fun set to build. We had a lot of little intricate pieces that if you look around and not look at the cast and look at the walls, it was just a lot of fun to build that saloon. Besides the swinging doors, the picture above the bar, there was just a lot of little fun nuances to that, and it was a good team putting those things together. So it's that I have fond memories of the whole production, but the set was a lot of fun too.
Am I remembering right that was a real buck's head on the wall?
Yes. Yeah, I can't remember whose that was.
I think Audrey brought that in. Somebody went.
That might be right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tay, what's your best memory?
So, when you just asked that, I remember talking to James because I didn't know him at all. Like, I don't even think I didn't know anything about him. So I was trying to make conversation with him and asking him like what he was doing. I forget exactly how I worded it. And he answered me as to like his motivations of his character. And I was like, no, like, what do you do like for a living? You know, because I'm like, I just stare into your eyes all day. I might need to know something about you. And it was just the funniest, like, little awkward bit of, you know, because we're supposed to be in love. And I'm like, so, you know, what do you do for a living? And he's just like starts talking about his character. I was like, no, like outside of OMP. So I remember that.
That's it. And we do get to know each other, but it's funny when we are in character, you know, we do have those moments where we're like, wait, are we supposed to be our character?
Yeah, it was telling me like his character's motivation. And I was like, I think you just need to like be a lot more in love with me. I said, do you know? And he's like, oh, okay. I'm like, okay. Much more in love with me than you are.
How about you, Peter? What's your best memory?
Well, being primarily a chorister for most shows, I'm usually in the middle of a gaggle coming on. And in this show, I was the first one through the swinging doors when the gaggle came on. So that was a little different. But the thing I really remember is the cast photo, because this was the one and only time we did a 360 photograph. That was kind of interesting just to do it, let alone see it.
Those are really cool.
Do we have that photo somewhere?
It might be on Facebook. If anyone has the time to go scroll back, we might have posted it on
very far
Facebook.
down, yes.
And Carla, I'm skipping over you, Schuyler. You can share your memory at some point, but I'm going to go to Carla.
I just remember not knowing Erica and the bond that we had by the end of the show, by the end of the run. We, I think, were pretty much ready to just beat up on James. She had to keep pulling me back, and I got more intense as each show happened, and she had to pull me back even harder. So, and then the hat that I make her throw back at James, I just throw it back at him. Just get rid of that stupid hat and get it right back to him. So that was a lot of fun. Right? I really had a lot of fun with Erica. So we were a great team.
And we will make more memories. We will have a huge new bank of them soon, but I'm going to throw it to Schuyler. I guess we have some questions coming in on YouTube.
We do. I have I don't remember this, but Amanda Lobob mentioned this in the comments, so I'm bringing it up. But Alex had a tip jar on the piano, evidently, which he actually got tips in. People would would leave tips for him.
May I also say that Anne also costumed Alex so that he appeared to be a piano player in a saloon. So, and it's unusual that our accompanist would be in costume, but Alex was in costume for the show.
And he loved to get in costume.
Yeah. As far as questions go, we are very professional, and we've already answered a lot of them just in talking. But Bruce, one question I do want to get to, very specific from Bruce Nelson for Wayne, is how do you go from the libretto and the sheet music to the actions of the players on stage? Like, what's your process, I guess, for the development of a show, just from the work itself?
Well, I'll try to keep it brief. I spend a lot of time with the libretto and with the score. I just sit at the piano, and this one is all music. There are no spoken lines in this one. I believe this is the only Gilbert and Sullivan show that has no spoken lines. And so I spend a lot of time just sitting at the piano, reading the libretto and playing the music and thinking about how the characters need to respond to one another and what their best movement would be to express the meaning of the songs they're singing. And once you have your setting, and in this particular case, as explained before, my paradigm was kind of the old TV westerns from the 1950s and 60s, and I had that picture of the saloon in my mind, and of the kind of frontier rough justice that I saw in the plot of this play, and I just keep reading it and rereading it and making notes in the score as to what I want, and then when we meet with the cast, I start teaching that to them, and the cast contributes ideas, and good ones get incorporated, and sometimes things don't work. So you see that it's not working, and you come up with a solution to the problem and you fix it. So that's basically how you do it. But it's all driven by the, I mean, I think that what has made Gilbert and Sullivan last for all these years is Gilbert's writing. That's not to say that Sullivan's music isn't brilliant, but I think that the reason we perform these things is because Gilbert's just a genius at crafting lyrics and dialogue for his shows.
Wayne is a man who's directed all of them. I would like to echo that I think Gilbert is a genius. And he also, in the middle of all this topsy-turvydom, as people say, I think he's imbued all of the characters with humanity, which makes them relatable still to the people that perform them. So that's my little, from a director's perspective and someone who's worked with a lot of the Gilbert pieces.
Yeah.
I think that we can say for this piece, I mean, you put it in a saloon. You said Sarah Jane switched the roles. I did a performance of it in the courtroom itself, and we are all dressed modern day in the courtroom. I was the stenographer. So I think that also you can just take it and put it into different scenarios and it still works. It also just shows you how it's just kind of timeless.
I think every one of the Gilbert and Sullivans has been reset in some format by many, many, many groups. I know I've done them all differently here and there. Patience one, and I did a Wild West Princess Ida too. So because that frontier spirit works for Gilbert and Sullivan.
Yeah, and that Ida was absolutely spot on.
There's a one or two clips of it on
Thank
our
you,
YouTube page. If you click around after the show.
Click. Go click.
That's right. Well, has anyone got any other thoughts or anything you would like to say before we wrap it up?
I would just suggest to those audience who have hang around some more, and eventually we'll get back on stage, and we'd like to see you in the audience, if not on stage.
Yes, very, very much so. We'd love to see you on our stage. Come play with us.
Yes. And thank you for your support, your continuing support of Off-Monroe. We have some very loyal patrons, and we thank you very much. As most people know, we have relocated to a downtown Presbyterian church. We basically crossed the river from our former location. And also, we're still active. And right now, there's some really cool improvements on the way that we've not had before. Al can nod his head furiously. Al Young has been part of that, but we are, and I guess we'll announce it because we approved it at the board, purchasing a new lighting system that will be computerized and up and ready for when we are. So we're all very excited about that. And it wouldn't be possible if it were not for the continued support of our patrons of Off-Monroe. We're very, very grateful that in this time, you're still in there with us, and we appreciate it a great deal. So I'll turn it back over to Rachel and Schuyler. Thank you.
Yes, please keep up with us on Facebook, Instagram, drop us a line. You know, we are still here. You know, we miss seeing everyone. I was texting a bit with Katie while the show was happening that we know everybody is home, and we'd rather be watching theater and participating in theater. And, you know, so there are ways to stay connected to us, and we hope that you will, even if you don't have Facebook, I don't have Facebook, but I run the Facebook page, you can still see all of the posts, and you can see what we're up to, and we try to show you what we're doing, you know, in this kind of weird time. So I see Amanda Loba just came into the screen, so talk about OMP royalty there making an appearance. So but we do miss you, and we will be here. Stay tuned for 2021. A big shout out to Edward for those wonderful previews of some shows we're hopefully going to be bringing you. And I will turn it back to Schuyler.
What more can I say? It's been a great show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you again to our patrons and donors. I have to echo that. We'll leave you with a credit sequence, if that's just fine. Have a good night.
Here on my heart, where I ne'er hope to rest, the weight of my brow and the woe of my breast. Here on the heart of my love, let me lie. Here in my joy, let one live, let me die. Here on the heart of my love, let me lie. Here in my joy, let me live. Let me live and die.
Come to the heart that thirsts not to find rest in the chain of thy arm, on the wave of thy breast. The lash and the oar as a dream I gone by. The lash and